There you go.
Yes, thank you. I'm so happy to have you here. And I want to kind of give a little idea of what we're going to be talking about. Of course, I'm going to love to hear your experience in this business and how you flow with it and how you started and all of that. And I just want to touch base on, I'm going to be talking a little bit on how you can, others who are also interested, how they can do this too. And we're going to talk a little bit about, where economic and our money is right now, our future jobs, our businesses, and our income, and bringing awareness to our everyday money problems that we're dealing with. So yeah, I like to start with you, Flowing. How did you get into this water business?
Girl, oh my God, it really found me. Um, I feel like the water calls people who are ready. And because it's such a cleansing, like the way that it's restructured and purified and electrolyzed, it literally is an internal transformation. And so you have to be really ready for something like that, like such a deep transformation. And so it's just a beautiful vibrational match. And so it's funny because I had built a six-figure business in the past doing insurance and financial planning for retirees. And I was so burned out from that that I took about a year and a half to 2 years off to really recover and essentially kind of calm my inner masculine and reignite or reunion or have a reunite with my inner feminine. And I was like, if I ever do business again, it's going to be totally different. If, right? And you just, I mean, you can't really help who you are. Like I love business. I love numbers. I love organization. I love creation. Like I genuinely love serving people to a big capacity. And um, I it was like January 2022, so a year and a half ago, that I got hit with the third strain of COVID, and I was just like in my deathbed, basically, like unable to move. It was really intense, yeah, going on like 10, no, excuse me, 2.5 weeks of just unable to move, and no life. And one of my friends who had the same strain as me prior to, she was talking about the fact that she had the post-COVID fatigue slash depression for 8 months. And I'm 2.5 weeks in, and I'm starting to feel that post-COVID fatigue slash depression. And I'm like, there's no effing way I'm going down that route. Like, no, absolutely not. And by the grace of the universe, as always, I just so happened to have met a woman maybe a month and a half prior to me getting COVID, who just made a very passive comment about water. And it was more her energy of like, have you heard of this? Right. I didn't do any research. I didn't, it was literally maybe a sentence or three of a conversation at the time. But then I started noticing it like on my Instagram feed, like this magic water kept popping up. So I'm like, okay, I'm just noticing at this point, right? So then fast forward, I get hit with COVID and I'm laying in bed and I just keep hearing this voice of, you need the water, get the water, get the water, get the water, you need the water. And I'm just like, water's like not going to solve my problem. Like I'm what? So I finally texted her and I was like, hey, I would like to try the water. And she came over. First half gallon that I drank, I was jumping up my stairs, dancing in my room again. I did 3 weeks worth of laundry without, again, I hadn't moved in almost a month at this point. And so I'm like, ironically, the image that intuitively came to me as I was feeling what it felt like down my throat, in my cells, the image that had came was that of a lightning bolt. And I just felt like vitality. And again, I had no research at the time. I had no idea that this was electrolyzed water, that this is like imitating nature's own, right? Like waters that get shocked by a lightning bolt. I had no research, no concept at the time. I just was observing my body. And it was in that moment that I was like, oh shit, I'm going to get this machine. Like I'm going to get this water. And then after I got my machine, I was just kind of like, business does come pretty naturally to me. And so I was kind of almost like mentoring the woman who had introduced me to the water, like, hey, you can market this, or hey, you want to build a structure like this. She's like, Emmy, why don't you just do the business? You clearly are good at it. You clearly like it. And I was like, kind of resistant just because I was so burnt out from corporate America. One of our followers had said, like, I was just so burnt out of like, go, go, go. You can never produce enough, never rest. And I was like, all right, if I do business, it's going to be completely different. And it's been such like an unwinding and remembering of my nervous system this round of business, like really creating how I want to create. So I'm very grateful for the flexibility within the structure that we have, like so much support. And I think that's been the most powerful shift in business opportunity for me.
Wow, I love how you brought in, unfortunately you were dealing with the whole COVID, and when came, it was a huge wake up call for a lot of us. I was working as a barista, and I couldn't work anymore. And so many people, they were forced to stop working, and they were forced to shut down. A lot of our money and salaries were reduced. Be happy, baby. One thing. And it was really a huge wake up call, because we live in a society. Boss, daddy, please. I don't have the battery. Say battery, please. Yeah, daddy, get you battery. All right, thank you for flowing. Mom, 3, let's go.
Let's go.
And we live in this structure where money is quite necessary for us to live, to pay our bills, to pay for food. And when salaries and our monies are being adjusted and reduced, like, we were like, whoa, what the heck? What do we do? And that's what's so powerful about the business that we're in, because we were able to make a way, and to be able to support ourselves and our family. And that's what's really important about having a business like ours, is what happens if that happens again. Right now there's huge economic inflation. And for those of you who don't understand too much of inflation, basically the dollar bill is getting weaker, right? So it's not that the eggs are costing more, it's you need more money to value the same amount of eggs. Like, the eggs still cost the same thing. Our dollar bill has no value. And I love how you talked about corporate, because there's a huge difference between the way people build when they have their salaries and they have their corporations. Being an employee, you have that job. And what's so profound that I want to kind of tap into a little bit is when you have your job, right, your W-2 employee job, you have a cap of income. And there's only so much money that you can receive. There's so much money that someone's telling you, like, hey, this is your cap for your abundance. And when you have your job, it's set hours. Like, your 9 to 5 is a typical Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Like, that's the typical way a job flows. Now, with the business, what me and Emmy are in is we don't have a cap on how much money that we can receive. And one day it could be this amount, another day it can be this amount. And like, do you love time freedom to be able to be like, hey, Monday, I'm just gonna sit on my coffee and go live, and like, that's magical. So what is the biggest difference do you see from having that corporate job to being your own business owner? Because you also flowed in with your own insurance business, right? What are those differences that you see now?
Yeah. So it's so interesting because how I like the structure is actually very similar. So when I was doing insurance, there wasn't really a cap because I wasn't salaried, I wasn't hourly. Like, it really was like the energy of you eat what you kill, like, and I was, and it's so intense because that was the mental state that I was in at the moment. I was like, I want to run. Fresh out of college, baby 23-year-old, like new to business, didn't even know what a deductible was. Yeah, I'm like, you're a badass for doing that, bitch. Like, yes. So from my understanding, there wasn't a cap. I did bring it to a 6-figure business, but I burnt out doing that. And so I would say the biggest difference that I'm really noticing is in the alignment of the product. So I was reflecting with one of my old colleagues, actually. He's a buddy of mine. He's still in insurance. And we were like, okay, really, to build a business, there's like four main things that you need to do. You need to know the product intimately. You need to use the product. You need to share the product, so talk about it. And you also need to be in alignment with the product. And I'm very much in alignment with money. I love money. I welcome it like a lover, or even like a child. Like, I don't judge it, you know? And I'm also in alignment with protection, which is what insurance was. Like, I'm very naturally protective. So I would say the main parts of insurance that I wasn't in alignment with was the culture. So the bright lights, the being on the phone, like literally being a slave to the phone from 8 till 3. I would drive 2 hours in Austin, Texas traffic to then go door knocking from 5 to 7 every single day. Yeah, like I could get it, y'all, but like I don't want to have to get it. um but just being stuffed into the heels and the skirts and the dresses, which I don't mind. Like, I like getting dolled up and I like being that boss babe, but just when that's the only energy and that's the expected energy, it was a lot for my soul. And so coming into more of like a wellness product, such as the water, and our community has really been powerful. Like our guide Jilly is really like, flow, like, step into your creatorship. This is going to be your creation. This is your life. It's just such a different in energetics of like how I'm attracting, what I'm attracting, and who I'm attracting. So the alignment is so much more authentic. Like, I get to literally sit in my garden and I'm still considered working. I'm on my phone replying to messages and helping people process their payment while I'm at the pool. You know what I mean? Like, that is more in alignment. And just not having that pressure for quota from my higher up, right? Like my mentor or my upline. So that's really the biggest difference. There's a safety in creating now that I didn't have back then. And a lot of that is in environment, and it's internal environment, you know?
Wow, absolutely. I resonate because it's really easy to back up something when you are also in integrity and it's also authentic to who we are. And that's what's so profound, is how easy is it to really resonate with health, for being able to help someone in whatever they're dealing with, be it finances, be it your own health and community. So, I just want to kind of share with a little bit on those who are asking, like, well, how, like, I'm feeling it, I'm aligned, like, how do I start? So it's really important I didn't know that the person who you invest from is the person you work with. I absolutely had no idea. And it's really cool because we talk about our mentor, Jilly. If I would have known that, I would have gone straight to the source. Okay. But somehow I still aligned with her. And even though she wasn't the person who I invested from. So I love the divinity in that.
Cool. Yeah.
And so you basically, how you start, you contact the person you're flowing with. Okay. You invest in your unit. You're going to receive a 11-digit ID number, and with that ID number you get to refer people. And well, how easy is it? And it's something like, can we do this? You hear me? Listen to mommy. And I just want to share like how simple this business really is. And it's really just Oh, you are. She needs room for her cacao on my little computer stand.
Of course she is.
So to flow back, it's really as simple as sharing this water, sharing videos, sharing education, and utilizing, you mentioned utilizing the phone and to be able to sit in your car and connect with people. And that's where I really find the power of this is our ability to connect with so many people. I think that is really spectacular because water bridges us. Water truly is that connector. And that's how we met because of this water. And this is how we know so many other people who are also on the same mission, who are also aligned in the same visions. And can you just imagine, okay, so when we go to our 9-to-5 job, we don't get to choose who we work with.
I was just gonna say that. Yes. Yes.
Like we don't get to choose who we invest our energy and our time and our love in, and that's when we've really been stripped away from our natural way of essence, where our power is in where we stream our energy, where our connections are bridged. And with this particular business, this referral program, we have that say. And it was only recently till I realized, like, I get to choose who I work with, and that's fantastic. Oh man. So I like to tap in on your visions for the future in this business.
Yeah, can I backtrack just a little? And I love what you're sharing about choosing who you work with. Because I think this part can be relatable to a lot of people. Like I used to think I was like crazy because I was like showing up, whether it was like my insurance job, or maybe it was working full-time at a childcare center, like, or even the research lab in college, or the student study in college. Like the jobs that I've had, it just always seemed like everybody had to be there. And I always had this life of like, fuck yeah, we're creating, we're making money, I get to spend, and I'm like contributing to society, and this just gets to be fun, right? But like then I would go to environments where people were just not having fun, and I'm just like, how are you going to like, why not choose to have fun if you have to be somewhere? Like make it worth your being there, you know what I mean? Like who wants to me, I was just like, who wants to walk around and be miserable all day? You know what I mean? And yes, I get that that's really common, but there's also those little sparkles, the glimmers, the glittery people who are the creators of their life, where that's not for them. And what I found is that by coming into this type of business creation world, then you're actually like, you're aligning and attracting other sparkly people who like to create and who like to make the best, who are training their brains, who are rewriting their reality. They're breaking these generational curses or patterns, if you will. And it's like, that's what fucking like just juices me up. And so it's really cool to go from like misery loves company to now we're all just creating with each other, and like we're in this like vortex of like, you just feel almost high all the time naturally because you're doing the dang thing, together. And so I just want to encourage for people who are in that, like they have that awareness of like, I'm not like other people. Like there is a space for you. Like there is absolutely a space for you. And we want to create with you for sure. I do.
And it's yes, we welcome that. I love, because there's so many of us, me being one of them, that was like, can I do this? Is it possible? We've been brought up in this system where we're told this is how you make money. This is how you contribute. This is how you're supposed to do things. And it's been really, it was challenging for me because I was like, wow, like I have children, I have a home, I have bills, like all the mind stories of what if I can't? What if something happens? What if I can't pay this bill? And that was the power of a huge power that I received back was flipping that narrative and those words. And because it truly starts with our words and our inner self-talk. And I had to learn that. And it took me a long time to realize that me saying that what if I can't was a really big pillar in what was stopping my success. And and it's beautiful because we talk about hydrating things and hydrating words, and it's like, what if you can't? What if you make $10,000 in a month? What if you make $50,000 a month? Like, what if? Like, what are the possibilities? Like, when you sit there and you envision and you daydream and you create in your mind, where is that place taking you?
Right.
Is it the fears? Is it the worries? Or is it the possibilities of just expression and creativity? What's so profound is this particular opportunity gives you that ability to completely surrender to all of your potentials and all your possibilities. And it gives you that vehicle when you choose and you decide, like, hey, this is where I'm going. This vehicle is what's going to take us. And that's what's so beautiful. You talked about contribution, and contribution is the solution. And I'm really in that space of like, well, how can I contribute? Because we forgot the ways of our ancestors, of all of us coming together to hold up a whole structure, a whole society, a whole way of living. And going back to the patterns we were fed, where we do this alone, go home, go hard, go home, like alone, woof, all that. And to know that in this particular business that we're talking about is we're not doing this alone. And, I have Emmy, I have all souls who are doing this with me, like we're rising together. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Wow. That was such a flow. That was so powerful. Like, you are in your freaking power.
I truly love our resonance and our particular frequency. And I will like to shout you out because you were a big pillar of go do it. Just go do it. And I was in a state of like almost expecting everything to come easy and naturally. And it was a really big wake up call of like, hey, like, what was the quote you said? The inconvenience of your problems. Well, can you say that? Because I don't remember.
Yeah, so the size of the inconvenience is transmittable to your level of commitment of XYZ.
Yeah, absolutely. And girl, that triggered me and that ignited me in such a powerful way of a beautiful wake up, like, hey, like, okay, let's show up, let's do the work. Like, it's not easy. And this isn't anything in life, like we pick our heart.
Totally.
We pick is like, and when we decide to go with it, that's where miracles really happen. And that's when we see that of faith. I really learned what consistency means. And for me, I thought consistency was going hard every single day.
Right.
Monday, because that was the old pattern written. And I found that consistency is still showing up, even if you need a couple of days to not show up. And the fact of like that continual build. And I think I reference this a lot. And I use this a lot in my own life, as a mom, as me, as a home person, as a businesswoman, is it's important to rest and to build and to rest and to build, because that's how we get on top of our mountains. And those mountains are those visions that we see for ourselves and what we want in our life and what we choose. Mm,
That is
she's
so wild. Okay, so you just did the stair step, right? We build and we rest. We build and we rest. Holy shit. So I'm having like a mind-blowing moment because going back to my
there.
insurance days, one of the products that I truly, truly love is what's called an equity indexed annuity. Okay.
What's that?
Yeah, so a lot of okay, so you have the stock market, which if you can imagine like your money going up and down, it's in tandem with the stock market, right? And then you have a savings account, which is basically like, I mean, now it's like flatlined, right? But maybe like a 1% interest, like it's barely going up. There's an in between. I feel like there's so much symbology here. There's an in-between product called the annuity, the indexed annuity specifically, where on the years that the market goes up, your money goes up a portion, not as much as it would in the stock market, but it goes a portion, a big percent up, because on the years that the stock market goes down, it flatlines. So you're not
Mm,
losing any money. And then the market goes back up. So your money goes up. But then when it goes down, it flatlines. And so they've done like 20-year studies. I remember showing the charts to people where like if you have $10,000 in the stock market versus $10,000 in an equity indexed annuity, over that 20 years period, you actually have more in the annuity, even though you're capped on the amount of growth because you didn't lose anything. So it was like the resting period was actually recharging your money in a way. So it was just more fluid rather than like volatile. Yeah, wow. That's big.
Money is us. But it is a direct physical creation of our essence, and who we are be able to receive money in that light is absolutely life changing.
Yes, bitch.
I thank you too. You mentioned. I'm gonna bring in some human design real quick. You mentioned that you're a projector, and I really do find how you do guide me in these ways in my life, be it the prosperity, that prosperity challenge, and it's really cool and really cool.
Oh my gosh, thank you for seeing that. Thank you for acknowledging it. And most importantly, thanks for receiving it. Like that's the
Yeah.
cool part. Like you're open enough to receive it. And then
Yeah.
and then you get the expansion that comes with the guiding, like that's the power.
That is so good. Awesome. So I honor your time. I want to kind of just share with our friends and our family here, just to kind of tie everything together is, let's think about our financial challenges that we're having and what's really going on in this world with our money, our business, our jobs. And I really ask and invite this question of, is there another way for you? Is there another calling? Is there something that your soul is guiding you to? And you know, if you're tapping in, I trust that water is calling you, and she's asking, are you ready? Are you ready to wake up to your abundance? And if you are, please connect with me. If you're connecting with me, connect with Emmy. If you're flowing with Emmy, we honor that integrity. And I want to share that you're not alone in this. And Emmy and I guide you on your path. And we're some dope ass people.
Yes, we are.
We are.
Oh, thank you so much for setting this up, Bri. I'm so proud of everything that you're doing.
Yes, thank you for sharing this space with me. It's always such an honor and a pleasure.
Such an
And
honor.
are you going R2F?
I am.
Okay, cool. Yes.
Yes.
I just need to solidify babysitters, and that's solidified, that's crystallized. I trust in that process, and I'll be there.
Yes, you will. I feel it.
Awesome. I love you.
I love
Enjoy
you.
Make Monday better.
Yes, always, baby.